Hello everyone, welcome to the next video for class 9th economics series. Let's get started. We are going to discuss chapter 3, poverty as a challenge. It's a serious topic. It's an important chapter even for you as a subject as well as in terms of scoring in the exams. So what are the topics which we will be covering? We will look at the definition. What is poverty? What are the various dimensions of poverty and what are the related issues? Why poverty actually happens, what are its main causes, other topics like social exclusion and vulnerability, very important topic in terms of small questions, who are poor and what are the poverty indicators, what are the various government actions that have been taken to reduce the poverty. Let's start with the first topic. What are the various dimensions of poverty? When we say dimensions of poverty, we are just trying to determine who are actually poor. Who are poor? Hunger, the people who are hungry. They are the people who are unable to afford food. And we are here talking about nutritious food, the food which is necessary for any person's existence. Second, a person who is not able to have a proper shelter. Third, a person who is not able to afford proper medical treatment. Somebody who has a lack of clean water and the sanitation facilities. Somebody who does not have a regular job with minimum wages. Also, a person who is ill treated at office, factories, and hospitals, etc. All above means living with helplessness. So, person who is actually struggling with point 1 to 6 is someone who is living with helplessness and they are poor. So, these are the various dimensions of the poverty to determine who are actually poor. Next, what are the main related issues of poverty? What are the major challenge of India? Poverty is a major challenge of India, and what are the issues related to poverty? So a person who is actually poor, he may be landless, he may be unemployed, his size of the family may be very big, he or she may be having very low levels of education, and finally health and the nutrition wise he does not have much access and helplessness. So there is a wonderful quote which Mahatma Gandhi has said, India would be truly independent when poorest of its poor people become free of human suffering. Next, what are the various causes of poverty in India? First, any time when we are trying to find the reason for something, we need to see the history. Why? What was the historical reason that made us poor? If you read the history, India was actually a very rich country before Britishers came. But after the Britishers came, they ruined the traditional handicrafts. The local industries were completely thrown away, and due to which people had very less jobs and very low income. Then gradually what happened after British period, there was a high growth of population. High growth of population with less jobs and low income is a very crazy combination. So ultimately the poverty increased. After independence, the public and the private sector organizations were not able to give jobs to everyone. So there was still people who were unemployed. And further unequal land distribution happened and there were huge income inequalities. So a family starts growing and the land which was owned by one person is divided among their kids. So as and when this process keeps on happening generation by generation, the person owning the land size actually becomes small. So ultimately the person who gets the land, he will get a very small piece and there is a huge income inequalities. So in India somebody is very rich, but there is somebody who is not able to afford even two proper meals. So this is called about the income inequalities. There are social and religious obligations. People spend a lot of money in the social and religious obligations. So this is a very common trend in India. Even if he comes from a middle class family or a poor family, when it comes to any social obligation like a marriage or any function or a ceremony, we tend to spend a lot of money. So these things of social and religious obligations actually lead to spending of a lot of money by Indians. And small farmers, they have to borrow loan at a very high rate of interest. Then we are going to understand what is the meaning of the term social exclusion. In this, what happens is individuals or a group, they don't get access to facilities and benefits which are available to others. For example, in India, certain castes are excluded from equal opportunities. You must have seen either a movie or a TV advertisement where there some kind of differentiation exists between two people. Somebody comes from a very rich caste or a very high caste. Somebody comes from a low caste. So they are not allowed to sit together. They are not allowed to eat together. So this is an example of social exclusion where all the resources are not equally available to all the people. Then comes the vulnerability to poverty. It is a measure that describes greater probability of certain communities or individuals to become poor or remain poor. So vulnerability to poverty is actually a kind of measure. We are trying to check who are those individuals or groups who are tend to be poor, who can easily become poor, or who are already poor but cannot overcome that poverty. So we are trying to see who are actually prone to becoming poor or who are already poor or cannot come out of the poverty. There's an interesting measure, right? So extending to the definition of vulnerability, who are actually vulnerable? Social groups like scheduled castes or the scheduled tribes, they are vulnerable. They are prone to becoming more poor, or they are already poor and they are not able to come out of that poverty. Economic groups like rural agricultural labor households, urban casual labor. So these are the laborers. Either it is an agricultural laborer at village or a casual laborer outside in cities. They are prone to become more and more poor. Inequalities within families also. Women, elderly people, female infants, they are not allowed equal access to resources. Again, I'll quote you the example from any of the movie or a serial which you may have seen, wherein the boy child of the family is given all the best resources. He is allowed to eat the best food or the hot food, but the girl child, she has allowed to wait for the male members to eat, then she gets her food. So these are the examples of inequalities which are existing. So this is about the vulnerable groups. Now when we know what is poverty and why it is happening, who are vulnerable to poverty, we need to understand what are the measures which have been taken by government to reduce the poverty. There are two parts. One is government is looking of overall growth. They are looking at growing the entire economy of the country. So if entire country develops, every individual or the every citizen of the country will develop. That's the logic. So what they are doing, they are, what happens when economy grows? What if you can see the growth rate, 3.5% average in 1970s has gone to 6% in 1980s and 1990s. It is a widespread rapid economic development and growth, due to which more and more resources were available to be invested in human resources, and reduction in poverty. So as and when economy grows, when the country grows, there are more and more jobs for the people. More and more jobs means more and more income for the people. So that's how economic growth helps in indirectly improving the country, improving the poverty, reduction of the poverty in the country. Then next comes the targeted anti-poverty programs. What are these anti-poverty programs? These are specific programs or the schemes that have been launched by government to actually target a specific poor community. So there is Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. There is Pradhan Mantri Poshan Shakti Abhiyan. Then there is Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Maitritwa Abhiyan and Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So we'll look into these individual programs at the later part of the presentation, and these are quite important from the exam per se, because questions will be coming to explain any of these schemes or one or two schemes directly. So yeah, as I told you, we will be looking at these schemes now. What is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act? So this aim of this particular scheme is that I will target the rural household so that 100 days of wage is provided wage employment. So at least 100 days of employment is provided to each rural household. And how they will work, where they will work to do sustainable development to fight drought, deforestation and soil erosion. And out of these jobs, 1/3 of jobs are reserved for women, and wage rate is revised regularly. So this is about MNREGA. Next one, Pradhan Mantri Poshan Shakti Abhiyan. So this is to improve the nutritional requirement, the calorie and the protein intake for child, improve school environment and eliminate school dropouts, encourage poor section children to attend school regularly. So they are given like the food in the school. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Maitritva Abhiyan. It reduces the maternal and infant mortality. So it reduces the death of pregnant women and any very young babies. So it will reduce. The target is to reduce their death. How it is reduced? By providing them antenatal care to the pregnant women. So special facilities are provided to the pregnant women so that they are able to do the delivery safely and nothing happens to their health. And it works towards safe pregnancies, deliveries and better maternal care. Next, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. It is towards the women empowerment in rural areas. So providing clean fuel, LPG in the place of coal, wood or cow dung. So normally, historically, Indian women used to use wood or cow dung or coal to cook the food, and it leaves lot of smoke. And gradually what happens, this smoke and there are particles in it which enters the body through lungs and everything. It has a harmful effect to the health of the woman. Now government is giving LPG to everyone. So what is the benefit? There is a smoke-free kitchen, there is a reduced respiratory disorders, and eyesight is also not affected. And it helps in promoting the environment sustainability, reduces deforestation and carbon emission, because earlier everyone is dependent on trees and wood. So a lot of deforestation used to happen, now it has reduced. Next, poverty indicators. How do we define who is actually poor? We are talking that somebody who is not having food, he is poor. Somebody who is not able to access, somebody who is not able to access food or facilities, he is poor. Somebody who is not having a job, he is poor. But you may be thinking, right, what is the definition of poverty? So the scientists have come up with two different ways of finding the poverty. One is based on their income and consumption, and second based on the multi-dimensional poverty index. So let's look at point one, based on the income and consumption. So based on the consumption, if any person staying in urban areas is able to afford 2100 calories worth food every day, or 2400 calories per person in rural areas every day, he is above poverty. Example, let us assume 3 rotis are equal to 2100 calories, and if a person is able to actually earn enough money to buy those 3 rotis every day in city, then he will be called, he will not be a poor person, he will not be a poor person. So 3 rotis is equal to 2100 calories. So if somebody is able to earn money to buy 3 rotis, he is not a poor. But if he is not able to actually buy those 3 rotis which are equal to 2100 calories every day in a city, they will be called as poor. But let's go to a rural area. Let us assume there are 4 rotis which make up 2400 calories. If anybody in a village is able to earn money enough to get those 4 rotis that equal to 2400 calories, they are not poor. But if they are not able to afford it, then they become poor. So this is poverty calculation based on the consumption. But if you want to understand in income, based on income, let us assume, we will come back to our earlier example. In the city, we need 2100 calories which are equal to 3 rotis. And let us say the price or the cost of those 3 rotis is 1000 rupees. It is an example, 1000 rupees. So if anybody who is able to earn 1000 rupees every day in a city, he is not poor. But if he is earning only 800, he is poor because he is not able to buy those 3 rotis. So you understood, this is how, based on the income and consumption, the poverty index is determined. Now let's see multi-dimensional poverty index. Multi-dimensional poverty index, what does it say? Earlier we were talking about either calories or income, but there are only one factor which is determining whether you are a poor or not poor. But in multidimensional poverty index, we have to look at multiple factors. It's not just income or consumption. What are the three major categories? Three major categories. One is standard of living indicators. It is made up of 7 items. We will see subsequently. Next is the health indicators, and third is the education indicators, right? So if any individual is found deprived on these indicators, he or she is considered as a multidimensional poor. So by this definition, if anybody has to be called as a poor, he should not be able to satisfy one or two factors, one or two these factors. He should not be having access to more than one of these items. What are these items? Standard of living indicators. An household is considered deprived if they don't have access to cooking fuel, that is LPG gas, sanitation facilities, drinking water, proper house, electricity, they don't have assets and bank accounts. So these are the basic living requirements. So if somebody is not having access to these things, they will be considered as poor. Next, education indicators. A household is considered deprived if not even one member 10 years or more of age has completed 6 years of schooling. Second, if any school aged child is not attending school, they will be considered poor as per this particular indicator. The final one, health indicators. A household is considered deprived based on the nutrition. If they are undernourished, I have given the age there. Child and adolescent mortality. If somebody under the 18 years have died in the previous 5 years, they will be considered as poor in this indicator. Maternal health. If any woman giving birth in previous 5 years not received any proper medical assistance, they will be considered as poor. Okay. Next one. Okay, with this, we have come to the end of this particular chapter. So we have understood what is poverty, what are the factors or what are the reasons why somebody is called as a poor, what are the various dimensions, what are the issues relating to poverty. Then we looked at how the government is taking steps. One, they are leading to the entire economic development, or two, they are taking some schemes and working on certain groups to help them improve. Third, we looked at individual schemes like MNREGA, then Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, etc. Finally, we understood indicators of poverty. How do you calculate poverty? Based on the calories and income, and another one was the multi-dimensional indicators. Okay, this is a slightly lengthy chapter with multiple topics in it. Hope it was helpful. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Thank you very much, and share the channel to your friends.